am just delighted to have the opportunity to spend a little time with someone who was one of the founders of this wonderful place, Teresa House. And I'd like to start by learning a little bit more about your role in the beginning of this place. And so can you talk about that?
Yes. I had the privilege of working on the first board of directors for Teresa House, and with several other very good friends.
Mm-hmm.
And we had this vision that Bob Bohr had been talking about for Teresa House, and so we organized a board of directors to begin to go to work on it to set up the bylaws.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we needed to do something like this was to have a 501c3
Mm-hmm.
non-for-profit agency, so that we could receive contributions, and we could give tax receipts,
Mm-hmm.
and so that we could govern.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that would work out all the details of board of directors. So I served on that first board, and I served as the treasurer. Somehow everybody on that first board said, "Merl, you get all the papers in order,
Uh-huh.
and what you have to do to set up a 501c3 is you have to have your papers, your approvals from the New York State government
Mm-hmm.
and from the federal government
Mm-hmm.
for tax purposes and so on." So I was able to do that. I got our charter from New York State. I got our charter from the federal government that licensed us to receive contributions and to operate as a 501c3 corporation, not for profit. And we went to work to do that, and I also set up a bookkeeping system so that the treasurer, at the beginning that was me, could keep track of all the financial dealings that you had to keep track of
Mm-hmm.
in order to file your annual reports
Mm-hmm.
with the state and the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
So we got that going, and that's what I did. I did all that, the paperwork and the legal work to establish it and get our state charters.
I think a lot of people would be surprised that in order to make an organization like this happen, there is all of that involved, all of that background. So that's pretty impressive.
Oh yeah.
That you were in on that and helped organize that, and you were the money person.
Well, I had some help, to be sure, because there were people around Geneseo, lawyers and CPAs,
Mm-hmm.
they said to me that they would be willing to take my phone calls, which was very helpful. So when I jumped into this and started to work on it, whenever I had a question, I'd call one of my supporters.
Mm-hmm.
And they were a great bunch of volunteers right at the very beginning who answered all my questions so that I knew where I had to go and what I had to do in order to get those licenses and get the charter for the corporation.
That's great.
Yep.
So, more on the side of the reason for this place being, what were your hopes and dreams and those of your fellow board members for this place when it first began?
The hopes and the dreams were to establish a palliative care home where people near the end of their lives might experience support and loving care from family, from friends, and caregivers in a pain-free environment. That was the basic principle.
And that's what there is today, right? So
Yes.
it's now, we're in the 25th year, of Teresa House.
Yes, 25th year.
Are you pleased with what's happened with the house since the beginning?
I can certainly answer that because a part of, we did a lot of planning, but one thing I didn't plan on was that I was going to be a resident here, and here I am. Today I'm a resident here at Teresa House, and I am exceedingly pleased with all the work that all the volunteers have done, and it's just turned out, yes, as I came in here the other day, I thought, wow, this is exactly what we were trying to do.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It was super, yes, it's super. And because what we're trying to do is let people in the last days of their life have a pain-free time where they could feel like they were at home. And Teresa House has done that. The volunteers and the nurses, they don't treat you like you're in a hospital. It's like you're at home. Being at Teresa House as a patient is really kind of like home care. You're at home, and not only are there the volunteers and the nurses here and the on-staff doctor who are looking after you, but your own family is welcome to come and stay. My wife has even stayed here a couple of nights, and so your own family is right here with you, and they assist. They're welcome to do it. Welcome to assist in your care, and so it's not like you had to go off to some big institution, but you are at home. In fact, my wife has even brought some pictures from our house and put them around in my room here, so I feel like I'm in one of our rooms at home.
That's great.
It's a wonderful way to spend the last days. Yeah, it's everything that I could have imagined.
I'm so glad to hear that.
And even more. Yeah.
I think
Yes.
that you've talked about another question that we posed, and that is your impressions of Teresa House. But is there anything that you'd like to add about that to what you just said?
No, well, yes, there is something that I would like to add. I just stress again that Teresa House is it's the best of humanity. It's people reaching out to their neighbors, their friends, and I think the most common phrase I hear around here is, "How can I help you? What can I do for you?" It's a place where people, where human beings, where citizens, or everybody just says, let's work together. Let's see what we can do for each other and help out. And the people, I do have to say this, that one of the things that I've enjoyed telling the people who are working here now, the volunteers, is that I had a hand in the beginning for Teresa House. I did the legal stuff, got the papers together, and made it a functioning corporation. But I didn't make it a success. It's the volunteers It's the people who come in and give their time and care for the people here and care for one another, make it a success. So I've had a great time so far here, telling all these volunteers that I'm very grateful to them for taking something that I started and making me look like a success. But I didn't make it the success that it did. It's all these people here who are volunteering their time and who are volunteering their money with their gifts and contributions. And they are all very much appreciated, I can tell you, because I'm here now appreciating it. Mm-hmm. And it's a wonderful place. And so I just say God bless Teresa House and everyone who supports this wonderful service through their time and their contributions. God bless them all. It's a great gift.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for making this possible, because you're being humble, but Teresa House wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you and the team of people you worked with in the beginning.
The original board of directors.
Yes. So,
yes, indeed.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you for the opportunity to thank everyone.